Hello, I wanted to make a video introducing the method I used to pass the July 2024 California bar exam. Just a disclaimer, everyone learns differently, so my method might not fit you perfectly. You should always pick whatever works best for you and maybe experiment with different methods, trial and error. Okay, so I already have a post on Reddit. I think I'll link it here down below. It's pretty long, but it's very detailed. That's the basis of this video. I'll add additional information on some particular subjects that I haven't had a chance to write on, show you examples of the things I did during the prep, and explain why I did this way so that you have more context. So that's what this video is going to be about. I separated my Reddit post into three parts: the materials, the method, and my schedule. But in this video, I'll talk about the materials and how I used the materials for each subject. So basically combining the first and second parts of the Reddit post. And I'll talk about the schedule at the end. And I recognize this video is probably going to be really long, so I'll probably just split them in parts because it's going to be really, really long if I put everything together in this one video. So probably just do it in parts. Okay. All right, the first part is preparation. And I think the mindset part is very, very important. I believe a healthy mindset is crucial. You can totally pass when you tell yourself every day that this test is super hard and will not pass if I don't study hard. That's just to motivate yourself. But I just think that's totally unnecessary and make the process very unpleasant. The prep itself is already quite stressful with the amount of information you have to get into your head within 10 weeks. So I just think it's better to stay positive, less stressful, and then pass. That's just, what worked for me. Now, on number 3, I just want to explain more on this and expand it. This is how I manifested and took care of my mental health. So I searched on Reddit for posts where people passed with very little study, left an essay blank, etc. I copied and pasted these posts and put them all on like this one note. On my phone. And then at the end, oh, sorry. The end here, I don't know why this looks so big, but just to give you an idea, and I'll link, this website. This is a website where you can just enter your raw score. Yeah, enter your raw scores and see what you'll need to get to pass. Right here, you can see if you get multiple 50s on your essays, you can still pass if you get high enough on PT and the PR and the MB, which consists of 75% of the exam. And I'll talk about this later. I know people say like this calculation is not accurate at all, but we just need some encouragement when we feel unmotivated or stressed. We're not using this as an excuse to study less than you need to, so you just get the idea. And here is a photo of someone's passing letter, a congratulation letter from the bar. So it says the Committee of Bar Examiners of the State Bar of California is pleased to report that you achieved a passing score. This person, I took it from past the February 2024. I just changed it. I say July 2024 California bar exam. So yeah, so I change it so it looks more like my own passing letter. Again, this is just as an encouragement when you're feeling down, so that you can take care of your mental health during this period. Everything else in the middle are just tips that will help you study smart, not just study hard. Once I read through these, and this is fairly long, so it calms me down and I feel much more confident, and I'll be able to go back to my studies. I think I incorporate all of these tips in my method, so you'll know what these are. All right. The next part is to know the priorities. You need to review everything, but you also need to remember that not every piece of knowledge or information is tested equally. I recommend reading this article to have a better understanding of this test. Basically, or in short, this test is MBE plus performance test, and PR, that's like 75% of the test. I also have a list of people I'll write it for you to follow and get good advice on. And then for the MBE, I'll talk about this one and then like the first one, and then I'll skip to the method section and talk about the materials and how I use these materials there. So if you want to do well on this test, you want to know what they're testing you on, right? So I'd recommend you to go check out this subject matter outline. I know from February 2025 onward, it's going to be Kaplan, which I don't know much about, honestly, but I doubt the subject matter is going to be a lot different. And they'll probably have a similar outline that looks like this. You'll just need to find it yourself because I don't have it here. I think this is very helpful because when you're looking at a multiple choice question, you want to know what subject this is. Is it Civ Pro or is it Crim Pro? If it's Civ Pro, is it jury trial? Is it motion? And then you would go into these smaller topics and narrow it down. Once you narrow it down, there are only very few rules that are testing you on under these very little topics and issues, and this will help you get to the right answer in a much faster because you know what they're testing you on and you won't be distracted by all these rules on the motion if you know like what you're tested on is jury trial. So that's why this is super important. Okay, and I'll skip these and go directly into the method section here. And I'll talk about the materials and how I use them. All right, the basic idea is whatever the plan is, you need to keep reminding yourself to do the work that's actually going to increase your performance, your score. So that's the core because you don't want to spend time doing things that are not going to tremendously increase your performance. You don't have time for that. That's why we want to know the frequently tested rules, the biggest components of this exam, and etc. I break down my preparation into stages. It's like milestones, and each stage you have a purpose of what you're doing during this stage where you want yourself to be at the end of this stage. In stage 1 of NBE, preparation is to learn the basic black letter law. I only discovered Grossman's video in mid-July, so I did not use it at the beginning of my preparation, but I think it's beneficial to start using it earlier. That's why I have it here. What I did was, for those subjects I learned in law school, such as torts, I would read through the Smart Bar Prep outline and do the Barbary learning questions. I don't have access to it anymore, so I can't show you, what that looks like. But they're basically very simple black letter rule questions, or sometimes a simple fact pattern testing the black letter law. You don't have to use Smart Bar Prep either. That's just what happened, just what I happen to have. You can use an alternative. But the key here is to have a basic, a breakthrough statement that makes sense to you. And remember, not all rules are tested equally. There are some rules that are tested more often than others. Yes, there are small rules hidden here and there, but you'd still pass if you don't know these rules. Even on the actual exam, your goal is to pass, not to get all the questions right. In order to pass, you'll need to have a very solid understanding of the basic rules that are tested more frequently than others. You have limited time to study. You just need to focus on the most important stuff. That's why I don't recommend using the bigger outlines, because how long and complex they are. And I didn't use it personally, so I don't know how useful they can be either. And then for the subjects I didn't do in law school, such as wills and trusts, I'll just watch video lectures and then do the learning questions. You'll still want to watch the Grossman videos and read through the outline, but it's not necessary at this stage, okay? It's still stage 1 for the basic black letter law questions. You'll use them when you're doing actual practice questions and need to really get to know the rules. And once you finish the questions, you'll check your answers and create a spreadsheet like this one. It's called MB rule tracking because I have the rules stated here for all the questions I got wrong. But basically, this is a spreadsheet where I record all the questions I did wrong. I recorded all the questions like probably during the first month and a half. But during the final weeks, I just slow down on these and review my wrong answers quickly, because at the end of the prep, you've had a pretty good understanding of the basic rules and you know your pattern, the type of questions you typically got wrong. And that were the two most important functions of this spreadsheet. I'll have one sheet for each subject. I'll have the topic and the issue here, why I got these questions wrong. I'll talk more on this later. And the notes and the rules, this question's testing you on where I got this question. If I got multiple questions wrong, and these questions are very similar, which you'll probably experience, I'll put them together like this. I'll do it more during the last few weeks of the prep. Once you've done enough questions, you'll notice the pattern. You'll know what types of questions you often get wrong. These questions are tested. The questions that are tested frequently, etc. This is basically how you improve, in my opinion, is to discover your weakness and a pattern. I also wanted to show you this. This is what I made during my prep, so it's not fancy at all because it's just for myself. So the MBE is basically testing 3 things: the black letter law, application of the law, just cook the facts together with the rule, and reading comprehension. The black letter law includes the main rules, the basic rules, I keep talking about, and the small ones. And reading comprehension also includes your approach to the question, and I'll have another quick video to show you what I mean by this, like what my approach is to the MBE questions. in my opinion, this is what the MB is about, and that's why I had these three columns right here. And I know which part of the three, is my weakness. And as you can see here, all of them are, I mark all of them. Now, stage 2 of the MB study is to do more practice questions for each subject. This time you wanted to do them timed and then update your spreadsheet. You can use UWorld, adaptable or Kaplan, whatever you have. It doesn't matter how many questions you do. Of course, you need to do enough that you feel comfortable. I am at numbers here just as a reference, and you can have a very low percentage. That's okay, because that's the learning process. You're still learning during this stage. I only got a little over 50% of the questions correct on my mock exam, and that's at the end of month 1. So it's okay. You just need to practice, update your spreadsheet, and learn from your mistakes. And when you're updating your spreadsheet, you are reviewing the questions and learning the rules. You'll read the explanations of the answers, watch parts of Grossman videos, and read corresponding parts of the outline over and over again. That's how you learn. Repetition. All right, finally, stage 3. After you practiced enough questions for each subject during stage 2, we're in stage 3. This stage you might want to spend most of the time on and mimic the actual testing environment as much as possible, except that you don't need to sit for an actual mock exam all the time for 3 hours. I only did it once. That's, at the end of June. That's it. To mimic the actual exam environment is to do timed and mixed question sets. Again, you can use whatever resources you have, but I would recommend doing actual NCBE. That would be like UWorld adaptable or Kaplan questions. You need to continue updating your spreadsheet, and you might find yourself doing it less and less because we collected so much information during stage 1 and 2 that you're only adding new information or adding the source of the questions for a single rule like this. So this is the MBE part of the study. And I wanted to put everything into one video, but I probably just split them. So I'll do another one. Hopefully that will have all the essay and the performance test and my schedule in that one.